When thinking of making this video, I would say that I felt like first-person shooter Drake. I thought this would be all fun and games. Oh, let me dedicate time and energy into finding out who the statistical GOAT is. It'll be so much fun, such a great use of time. Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT, goofy looking ass boy? Then I realized that this process was Kendrick Lamar and absolutely nuked my day-to-day and free time living. I just no-lifed a YouTube video. I'm basically him now, but I guess it's worth it since I deadbeat it for 3 months. The corner store called me, that's all. In the process of making this video, I woke up some mornings staring at my LeBron and MJ demons in the mirror like Dexter Morgan seeing visions of his dead sister after offing her. I thought it was sweet, but this video made me take a seat. Long nights, many equations, an excessive amount of numbers. Please acknowledge this video.
Acknowledge me.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. Spare change so I don't feel neglected like Matilda after her family sold her off for a scratch-off ticket and some baby oil. No diddy. And listen, if you don't like the ratings, argue with Google Sheets, not me. I am Dr. Frankenstein and this is my monster. Pause. But yeah, I used math to figure out who the top 30 players in NBA history are. And let me tell you, it came down to the most minute details, though I did not factor in all of the LeBron spiritual songs that have been made about that man. Not gonna lie, it is crazy work to make a whole song dedicated to another man you don't know over basketball, but I guess that alone should make him #1. I didn't see them doing that for Jordan, but anyways, enough playing. Let's get this John started. Basketball fans across the world love to actively participate in self-imposed deja vu in the form of constantly arguing about who the GOAT is, and if Jordan played plumbers, and where the Wilt Chamberlain 100-point scoring game footage is. Hey, I've seen clips from the 1940s in 4K HD color, there is no excuse. But why do we do this? To put it into simple terms, it's because we love the game.
I love the game. I love the hustle, man.
We love analyzing this sport and learning new things each day. We love defending our opinions, whether it's with advanced metrics or all-time statistics. We want to be right. But what if there was a way to actually be right? What if there was a system designed to measure the career impact of a player? What if we could actually see how Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain statistically match up in the modern era? What if? With the growing rise in intellectual property and advanced technology, this can be put to life. Statistical measures like player efficiency rating and game score can be used to weigh players and their performances against each other. And when you combine these new measures with more common measures, you get a giant spreadsheet of statistics and ratios that took days to make. Excuse me. You get the statistical top 30 players in NBA history, and that's exactly what I did. Basically, I compiled a list of 108 players that are considered in all-time discussions. 76 of those players were selected because they were on the NBA 75th anniversary team, and the rest were players that were snubbed from the list, including Dwight Howard and Pau Gasol. With this list of 108 players, I gathered their per-game stats, their career totals, and their accolades for both the regular season and playoffs. I then compared their individual stats to the averages from the list of these 108 all-time players. For example, the average regular season point per game out of the 108 players came out to be 19.98 points. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 30.1 points per game for his career, so he would earn about 1.5 points since his point per game total is 1.5 times greater than the average. This method was applied to most statistics, including advanced metrics like win shares. I did the same with accolades and honors, weighing them based on importance. MVPs, for example, would be weighed 7 times higher than normal, and all-time leaders were weighed 4 times higher than normal. These boosts represent the fact that accolades separate the great players from the all-timers. Championships, finals appearances, and finals MVPs were also taken into account. And looking at all this information, we get point totals that compare how great each all-time NBA player is. For reference, David Thompson was last on this list with 41.6 points overall. These point totals assess the level at which each of the 108 players compares to the average all-time player, with the average all-time player having 132 total points. Dennis Rodman, who finished with 137.4 points, would qualify as slightly above the average all-time great, which makes sense when looking at his resume. What you will see throughout these rankings is that the numbers are pretty accurate and representative of how these players rank against each other. There are some limitations though. First, certain awards and stats didn't always exist, such as Defensive Player of the Year or blocks per game. The weighing of career accolades makes up for this though, as you will see. Second, the weighing is based on my opinion of the awards. I have finals MVPs weighted higher than regular season MVPs, and some people may disagree with that, which would change change the results. Third, for players who also played in the ABA before the merger, I combined their stats from both leagues to assess their overall all-time impact. Lastly, these rankings do not account for competition played or special circumstances, and they do not penalize for constant playoff failures. This is balanced out though by rewarding playoff and career success. But without further ado, let's get into these rankings. At number 30, we have Jason Kidd, followed by Scottie Pippen at 29. Artis Gilmore, John Havlicek, and Ben Wallace make up numbers 28, 27, and 26, with the all-time triple-double leader Russell Westbrook at 25. We then have Dwight Howard, Moses Malone, and Dikembe Mutombo filling in the next 3 slots. The Greek Freak makes an appearance at number 21, which will surely go up by the time he retires when his career totals match some of those ahead of him. To close out the 20s, we have John Stockton, who holds the records for all-time steals and assists. At 19, we have Cliff Paul's brother, Chris Paul, aka CP0 Rings, which is my first disagreement with this list rankings. The big ticket Kevin Garnett follows CP3 at 18, with the Claw at 17. Kawhi should honestly be higher on this list, but his availability has always hindered his potential. The 2-time Finals MVP Kevin Durant comes out at 16, with NBA and ABA legend Dr. J edging him out of the top 15. Nikola Jokic, the Serbian menace, is ranked 14th on this list, which is also bound to increase, especially if he wins his 4th MVP this year. At 13, we have the Admiral David Robinson, who was followed by Shaq at 12. At first glance, I disagree with Shaq being out of the top 10, but when looking at who's ahead of him, I can't really be mad at it. The final entry before the top 10 is Larry Legend, the man who helped save the NBA from failing in the 80s. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this list. Please don't acknowledge the fact that I just said nitty-gritty. At number 10, we are starting out with a bang, with no other than the late, great Kobe Bryant with 221.6 total points. Kobe's greatness cannot be denied. Tied first in all defensive first teams with 2 Finals MVPs, 5 championships, and 18 All-Star appearances, the Black Mamba will forever be a fan favorite. At number 9, the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry, appears with 235.9 total points with 4,000 plus threes and 4 championships to his name. Steph Curry has forever changed the game of basketball in a way that we have never seen before. Steph made the game a 3-point shooting game, washing out pure defensive archetypes, forcing all players to learn how to shoot. So the next time you shoot a 3 and yell Curry, understand the significance. Coming in at number 8, the winningest NBA player of all time, Bill Russell, at 236.99 points, just edging out Steph Curry. Bill Russell was a force, showing just how dominant centers can be. Without Bill Russell and the next name on our list, the NBA likely doesn't come out of the 60s with a steady fan base and profitability. And that next name at number 7 is Mr. 100. Wilt Chamberlain. He is also Mr. 10,000, depending on the context of his on-court and off-court career. Wilt is tied first in career points per game and leads in total rebounds and rebounds per game. Wilt was a freakish athlete and immovable force, appearing on this list with 264.89 points. At 6, we have Mr. Fundamental, Tim Duncan, with 281.2 points. Underappreciated for most of his career due to the dim lights of San Antonio and specific fans who have beef with Charles Barkley. He is the most important part of one of the greatest dynasties of all time. Tim Duncan is the definition of robotic output. You knew exactly what to expect on a nightly basis, yet couldn't stop him from doing what he wanted to do. The turnaround hook, the post fade, the pure post game. Tim was a force, and it's justified that he is finally getting his flowers. To start the top 5, we have none other than the Dream, Hakeem Olajuwon, the all-time blocks leader at 331.2 points. Hakeem made the post offense what it is today. Without Hakeem, we do not have pretty post footwork, nor do we have athletic versatility in big men, as Hakeem was one of the first to display just how pretty a center's game can be. At number 4, we have Magic Johnson, racking up 339.3 points. When your nickname is Magic, what else do you expect? Magic leads the league all-time in assists per game, both regular season and playoffs, as well as playoff triple-doubles. If it wasn't for a career-stalling sickness, Magic likely would be the all-time leader in assists. Magic and Larry saved basketball in the 80s, and in my eyes, he will always be one of the greatest Lakers. However, he cannot be the greatest Laker because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar exists at number 3 with 377.8 points. Kareem has the most MVPs of all time with 6, while also dominating basketball in 3 different decades. The former leading all-time scorer showed just how effective mastery could be, perfecting his famous skyhook shot. Kareem kept the game simple and dominated, winning a lot, losing a little, and inspiring all. Now at this point, we all know who the top two are, the forever debate. MJ or LeBron. Even the stats came down to this conclusion with such a small difference in total points. First, I want to preface this by saying that anyone who doesn't have MJ and LeBron top two doesn't deserve your time, and numbers don't lie. We have an argument between sustained greatness and all-time peaks, an argument between longevity and efficiency, an argument between two GOATs and different eras, a decision between who really is the greatest of all time. As I said, this came down to the wire. The number 2 spot has 451.6 total points, while the number 1 spot has 453.1 total points, a 1.5 point difference. In other words, this is a coin toss. But based on my math, LeBron is the greatest player of all time. Before I talk about LeBron, I want to acknowledge MJ, 6 for 6 in the finals, with 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles. MJ's impact is so revolutionary that he literally is the logo of the most popular shoe brand in the world that is named after him. Without MJ, there is no Kobe or LeBron. Without MJ, so many players on this list have rings. Names like Stockton and Barkley likely have rings, but MJ's greatness has always been too much. Now, LeBron, the man who is getting R&B attention. There is not much that can be said about LeBron that hasn't already been said. LeBron is on so many all-time leading lists that you would think he scribbled his name here and there to cheat the list. LeBron has been so dominant for so long that we hold him to MVP standards at the great age of 40. LeBron has been so dominant that I can't imagine a world where he regresses. Quite literally, in the 2010s, it was guaranteed that LeBron would be in the finals after the first game of the regular season, which is crazy to think about. The all-time leading scorer, the man in the arena, LeBron rounds out this list as the GOAT. Still, no matter how you draw it out or fight it, MJ, LeBron, it doesn't matter. They both are GOATs, and they both are the greatest players to ever touch a basketball. So MJ fans, continue to fight about his finals record, scoring dominance, and winning mentality. LeBron fans, continue to talk about his longevity and impact in the record books. All that matters is you continue to talk, because this game is beautiful, and it continues as long as we acknowledge its beauty.